Uh-oh. Wonder where Ralph is at. Oh, here I am. Anyways, this weekend I was not going to be able to do a video because I was going to go turkey hunting up in northern Michigan. So since the weather delayed that, I'm doing a turkey, little bit of a turkey video thing right now here at home since I'm not going up north yet. I'm going to go probably the following weekend. So, anyways, without further ado, let's go over here and look at all the goodies. Oh, actually, let me take this stupid mask off. This mask and the camouflage hat is just stuff to keep so the birds can't see it because you gotta be kind of camouflage pretty good with turkeys. So let me move this and around like this, and voila! This is all of our this is all my turkey hunting stuff, kind of. So we're gonna do a little talk about some of this stuff here. Um, let's see. Maybe I should turn it around. Let me rotate this around. You have a little bit better view of everything that way. Let's see. How's that look? Okay, that looks like it should be pretty good. All right. Um, so, anyways, this is a turkey fan from a turkey I shot a number of years ago, and I dried out. I spread the tail feather out, the tail feathers, and I fanned it out. And then these are all the beards. Spring turkey hunting in Michigan, you can only shoot male turkeys. So these are the beards off the turkey's chest. It'd be like right on the front of their chest, like so. To get that, so I did this. I just put this out like a prop so you can see some of the stuff that goes into turkey hunting. Um, so some of the calls that we use for turkey hunting. Just imagine going out in the morning, first thing in the morning, and if you've done some scouting as to where your turkeys are at, where because they roost, they fly up into trees at night and they roost. So if you kind of know general area where they roosted the night before, uh, you go out there first thing in the morning. You kind of slip in there. You try to get about 100 yards away from them, and probably one of the first calls that I would use to draw in the turkey would be this right here. There's different brands, but this is a night and hail. This is a shock gobble call, they call it. And it's an owl call. And when the birds are up in the trees early in the morning when it's still dark, the toms that have the beards like this, they will gobble back to you. So you can kind of pinpoint their location. So what this sounds like, this is a call that you kind of cup in your hands like this. You blow into it and you open your hand up like this. You open it up like that. So I'm going to do a little demonstration. So you go and they'll usually gobble back, and respond. The turkeys during the breeding season, the male turkeys are very vocal, so they'll be gobbling their heads off when they hear something like that in the morning. So that's what we call a locator call. Sometimes you walking around the woods in that, or you get out first thing in the morning, and you may not know exactly where the birds are, but they'll gobble back, and it's called shock gobbling. And this is a very good early morning call. I wouldn't recommend using it later in the day, because owls aren't that active, and they don't hoot and make noises during the middle of the day. So this call is good just strictly early morning. Now, if you're out turkey hunting during the daytime, let's say you're going out after lunch, turkey hunting for an afternoon hunt, and you want to shock gobble, get a tom to shock gobble back so you can pinpoint his location, you might go with something like this. This is a crow call, and you just blow into it, and you just go, and When a male tom turkey hears that, he's going to gobble back. He can't stand not being part of the attention and being on stage performing. So he's gonna gobble back to this crow call. So that's another call to use for a locating call. Another call that is shocking. It's one of the few calls you can use from actually turkeys. And I'm going to show you this one right here. This is a turkey wing, and I made a little handle for it, camouflage. It's kind of soft to hold on to. And a lot of people would go, "Well, what do you use this for?" Well, I would use this. I would use this out in the woods next to my blind. I'm sitting there listening for birds, and I may let me move this fan out of the way a little bit. So I have this turkey fan or turkey wing, and what I'll do is sometimes early in the morning the birds are still up in the trees roosted. They haven't flown down. They might have gobbled to my owl call. They might have responded to that, so I know okay they're in the area. Um, then what I might do is I might start doing a couple little hen calls, and I'll do those for you, to attract them. But the idea of this turkey wing is it works in a couple ways. First of all, I can take this, and while I'm sitting on the ground, I can I can flap it like this, and I can make it sound like birds flying down out of the trees and landing on the ground. And I can even hit branches so it kind of sounds more realistic, like real birds flying down. I can take the wing like this and I can scratch the ground with it, kind of make the rustling in the leaves like turkeys actually feeding, looking for acorns or whatever to eat. So this turkey wing actually works quite well for a call like that in the morning, especially, but even during the day, you can make the scratching noises with this while you're sitting there on the ground, you know, trying to make those realistic sounds that turkeys would be making in the woods. So that's a very cool uh, call that you don't even doesn't even cost you anything. Basically, as long as you get your first turkey, you just save one of the wings. You gotta cut the tip end of the wing off, and then you just put some boric acid powder all over it and let it dry real good. And then you can wrap it in leather, or this is uh this is some old neoprene fishing waders that I had. I cut them up in the strips, and I just made it. Just gives you a nice little soft, comfortable grip. And I just put this in my backpack, with my turkey hunting stuff. Um, Another call that you doesn't take much, doesn't cost much to make for turkey hunting, as long as you get a turkey. Um, is a wing bone call. That's what these are. These are made out of turkey wings. These are there's three bones in the middle part of the turkey. Well, the middle of the turkey wing, the meaty part of the turkey wing. There's two bones there. That's these two, and then there's a smaller one that you take out and remove, and you just boil the bones in water and clean them up. You can even bleach them in some hydrogen peroxide to make them white. If you wanted to do like a uh, camouflage paint or something, and just give them a light dusting, you can do that. I just keep them like this. Um, and so how this type of a call works, let me see if I can flip this around. Okay. So how this call works is I take it, and I always use the I think it's the right side of the turkey to do this with. And let's see. There's a little end to it right here. Let's see. See, I make it so my fingers fit in there, and then I stick this right in my mouth. This is what this little rubber seal is. I put that on there, and then I can go, and I just suck on it. So all I'm doing is I'm just sucking on the end of the tip, uh, right there. And this is just a spacer. When I make these, I put this little O-ring on there, and I slide it back and forth until it fits where it should be. Now this turkey call that I'm just used, this is made from the wing bones of a male turkey, and it's a little bit raspier. This other call that I'm going to do is the smaller, as you can see. It's a smaller call. Um, and this one is made from the wing bones of a hen turkey. In Michigan, we're allowed to shoot hens or toms in the fall hunt. There's two turkey hunts, spring and the fall. So this one has a little bit higher pitch usually because it's a smaller bones. But anyway, you just stick it right in the corner of your mouth. You just suck. You go. And that's a higher pitch. So I have one of each of these turkey calls. And the reason I did that is because this around now. The reason I did that is I like the variation of different calls. That's a secret to turkey hunting success is not sounding like everybody else. If you have the common box store call, from the sporting goods store, that everybody else has, you're going to sound like everybody else. And if you've got spooked turkeys that are call shy, they're not going to come around. So that's why I have a few tricks up my book, like the turkey wing. I use that. These wing bone calls, which are awesome. I like those. They're kind of high pitched too, so they're kind of a good long range call also. But like I said, there's a Tom wing bone call and a hen wing bone call. This one I just put a little lanyard on, so because I usually keep this one. This is my favorite. I'll usually keep it around my neck while I'm walking around in the turkey woods. So we got owl hooter, we got the crow call. Yeah, that's kind of obnoxious. You want to drive some people crazy in the car up north. Just blow on those calls all the whole time up, and that'll get them going. Um, Another type of call that I use is what's called a slate call, and what this is just a sheet of slate that's glued into a box. This is a resonator box. Kind of imagine it kind of like a way a banjo or guitar is, like acoustic guitar. This hollow cavity here resonates a sound. Um, this one is a pretty good model. This is a slate call. I have a couple other kinds like this, and they're fairly easy to maintain. You just take a little Scotch Brite and you just kind of rub it around on the surface, kind of rough it up a little bit like that. And then this is your striker. And they're usually, not always, but sometimes they'll have a hole in it, so that kind of resonates sound too. But how this works is you just hold it like you're holding a pencil, and you just go. The one call you can do is just is just a yelp, and that's done with kind of a J sound. And you can add, those are clucks, they call them, or yelps. You can go. Sometimes you can drag it and do what's called like a fighting purr. I'm not sure if I can do it with this one, but just a little more pressure, and you just kind of skip it along. And this particular type of call with the slate is a little bit softer. So this is if you're trying to reach out and be heard like 150 yards away from where you're sitting. This one's a little bit soft. So it's not as good as a high range one. This is a good call. Like if I got a bird coming in that's like say 70 to 50 yards away, or getting actually even closer, I can soften those sounds up a little bit. But I can't really get a louder pitch out of this type of call just because of the slate. So that's a slate one there. Now this is a little bag. It's got a little clip on it, so it clips on my belt, and as I'm walking around through the woods. And there's two different types of calls in here. This one looks very similar to the slate call you just saw, and this is a little mini crystal call. This is some sort of a crystal or glass on the top, and you can see it's got a little box. It's got the little holes for resonating the sound. And let's see. Let's try. And I got two different strikers here, different ones that either came with the call or was with that. So we'll use this one because this is a Primos striker and this is a Primos brand call. So this one's a little smaller. You cup it in your hands and you just go. Sometimes you got to get some sandpaper on these. The wood on the end of the striker gets a little bit it gets polished and it doesn't want to work as well. Sometimes you can rough this up a little bit. These glass calls you really need to use like a 220 or a 200 grit like sandpaper, a good gritty kind of like an automotive sandpaper with that like a carborundum type of material. But this one skips a little bit, but this one actually can put out a lot of sound because of that crystal or that glass top to it as compared to the slate, which is a little duller sound. But there's that one. And then this is probably one of my favorite long distance slate calls. This is by Flex Tone, is a brand. It's one of the brands out there that makes turkey calls, and this one is what they call the tramp stamp. And this one's a little bit louder. It's a bigger call too, so it does put out some pretty good loud sounds to it. Let's see what we can do with this one. That's like a purr. Turkeys make that purr noise, and then this is a yelps, usually about 4 or 5. Then you just stop and you listen and see if the male starts gobbling back. Generally, if he's wired up like he's had 6 cups of coffee, and he's looking for a girlfriend, he is definitely going to gobble back and respond. But that's a putt right there. That little short. And a series of yelps or clucks they call it. So yeah, that's some pretty good overview of some turkey calls there. Now let's see if I can reach over. I'm going to grab. These are some turkey calls that that I have made. Actually, I'm going to move some of these out of the way so you can see some of these. These are some homemade turkey calls, other than the turkey wing and the turkey wing bone calls. Those are made. I made those myself. But this is a different type of call. I have a box call, but I can't find it. But this is these are some of the turkey calls that I've made myself. This is the company that I kind of came up with, Grand River Game Calls. They usually, that's like a serial number on them. They all, back when I was making these, quite commonly, or making them a lot, that would be like a serial number on there. They usually have that little GRGC, which means Grand River Game Calls. It says Made in Michigan by R. Snyder, which is me. And then I have artwork on the back. These are some turkey wings, and it'll usually say Grand River Game Calls. I haven't made any calls in probably about 8 years, 10 years, just because I don't have the woodworking supplies to make them. Here's another one. This is made out of Honduras. Let me see. No, that's Philippine mahogany. I think it's a little bit lighter color, and it's a little looser grain wood than the Honduran mahogany calls. This one here. This one might be, yeah, this one's a Philippine mahogany one also. But you can see they got, I put I would burn the artwork on them. And yeah, they're all signed. They all have my name on there. Um, Usually they'll have the serial number, what they are. But yeah, and then it's the GRGC, Grand River Game Calls, with the acorns and the oak leaves on there. So these are a couple of those. Let me see if I can find a couple of the other varieties of them here. Okay. Um, this is here's some more of them. This is made out of poplar wood. These were mahogany. These are Philippine mahogany, these ones. This one here is made out of poplar. I can tell just by the grain and the color and everything, and it's stained. It's usually that greenish colored poplar wood. They're fairly light, and they'll fit right in your shirt pocket. That's the nice thing about them. They'll fit right in the shirt pocket, no problem. This is another mahogany one. Same kind of artwork on it. Little Grand River Game Calls thing. I usually mix up the different designs on them, but they usually the theme is they have this large turkey tail feather, the three acorns, and the oak leaf is usually a kind of the main pattern for it there. But this is a mahogany one also. And then this is probably one of my favorites. I like the mahogany calls the best. I like them, and I like this is a quarter sawn sycamore wood. I don't know if you can see, but when you hold it certain ways, you can see like a kind of a wavy tiger stripe kind of pattern in the wood. Actually, you can see it a little better here. You can see it down in here. And this is a very good dense wood for making turkey calls. You can see there's some more of that tiger striping along there. So basically all these do, how these work is you got to put some chalk on them. I'm hoping I got enough chalk on this. But you just hold the call like this, and then you just go. That's like an alert putt or a putt. That's like a fighting purr. That's kind of like combination of like real sharp short clocks and the loud putt. It's kind of a combination of calls. And then the way these are designed, they flip over. You can. That's all you do. You just hold the striker board, which is this, just a piece of oak. It's all chalked up. This probably could use a little more chalk. Doesn't quite have the sound that I'd really like out of it, but it's there. And then you just hold the call like this. You just hold it kind of down at the end. If you don't want to hold it up here too much, because sometimes if you hold it up here, you might change the sound a little bit, but that's okay because these calls, that the nice thing about them is that they don't sound like anything in the store, like a store-bought call. Let me find some more of these strikers. Let's see if I got one that's chalked up pretty good. I can play one of these mahogany ones for you so you can see how they sound. But yeah, that's all you do. You hold this striker in here and you just go. Those are putts, or that's when you do those sounds like that. That's kind of like an alert or a putt. It's kind of like, hey, get over here. Do you hear me over here? And then this is just that's a purr. These really need to be chalked up pretty good. I mean, they're just out of my box of hunting stuff, so I haven't chalked them up real good. But and sometimes, see, the grains in here go this way. And so sometimes when I run the striker or the call across the striker board, I kind of go on an angle, so then I'm catching all them little grooves with the chalk in there. So that's how that works. So anyways, yeah, and then like I said, these are designed so that the striker just falls right inside like that. Then you just put that in your shirt pocket. So if you really only had if you only had one turkey call out there in the woods, that's, that would be all you'd need. It's just one of these little box calls. But like I said, I'd like to get back into making them, but I need to get the woodworking tools. I just made these during my lunch breaks and during, punching out at the end of the day at work. And I worked where I had woodworking planers and table saws and band saws and grinding wheels and stuff, so I could polish these and sand them all up. But yeah, this is primarily what I use turkey hunting. I'll use the slate calls. I mean, when I go out there turkey hunting, I have a whole arsenal. I have usually one or two of these box calls, usually a mahogany or a sycamore or a maple. I mean, whatever. The poplar wood ones I use, but they're more of a short range, like within 50 yards or closer. This is a good, softer sounding call. It's not as loud and high pitched. Actually, I don't know if I can get this one going because it's kind of doesn't sound as good because you put you chalk these edges on both sides, chalk that, and then you cover this and run the chalk all over and cover this really good. And then you blow off some of the excess, but you want these chalked up really good because that chalk on both surfaces creates the friction that gives a sound to the call. So that's, let's see, that must be going with one of these ones here, but that's a striker for that. Um, So, and then another turkey call that I do is this works too, is I've actually practiced making turkey calls with my mouth. So I can go, let me see here. And that's just done with my mouth. And I've killed some turkeys just doing that, just with calling with my mouth. But um yeah, so uh that's kind of an overview of some turkey hunting calls and sort of what I use. And for those of you that are getting out this spring and doing some turkey hunting, hopefully that'll give you a little tips on stuff. Like I said, if I had the wood shop and the stuff, I would probably go into making my calls and that. I usually charge depending on the wood and depending on how much artwork is in it and all that. They go anywhere from uh like 30 to $40. Usually like $40 I sell them at. Like when I used to go to outdoor shows, I'd have several hundred of these, and I would just say $40 each. It's easy. Don't have to break any bills or just two 20s or four $10 bills, and you got yourself a turkey call. But like I said, I haven't gotten into it in a while. It's been, like I said, eight maybe 10 years since I've made turkey calls. Um, would I do it again? Probably in the future. Maybe if I can figure out a way to have a place to set up the woodworking tools and be able to do that, I would. But at this time, I don't really have a place to set up the equipment or have the equipment, so I'd have to go out and get all that. So anyways, I know this is a little bit longer video than I usually do. I apologize, but like I said, there's quite a bit to cover on this one. Um, so anyways, I'm probably going to be doing something with Indian artifacts or maybe flint knapping or fishing in the near future here. But this is just want to mix it up a little bit and give you guys something other than just look at arrowheads. So anyhow, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. All right.